Welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, west of the 51st state, Greenland, south of the 52nd state, Canada, and we are having ourselves a heck of a night. And why is that? Because we have finally found ourselves a game that the Flyers can win. That's right. Tampa Bay is here, and Tampa Bay is going nowhere fast. Oh, wait, what's that? What's that?
Well, they did lose their last two.
What's that?
They did lose their last
What's that? Tampa, legitimate contender in the Eastern Conference. All right, well, it's been great seeing everybody. Have a great night. Now, any night, it has to be the night. I'm actually going to throw him on the screen here really quickly before I get rid of him. But intern Andrew is in the midst of this very bad thing that he did. He's been a bad intern. And he said a few games ago that he was going to pick the Flyers, and he's going to keep picking the Flyers until they win a game.
Okay.
Which is dumb because they are in the midst of what could be their annual 10-game losing streak. And it's dumb because where the standings are right now in our predictions pick contest, intern Andrew, by virtue of incompetence, is still leading the way, but only at 42 points. The gap that was once like 9 or 10 points is now down to 2.
Ooh.
Ant and Bundy both have 40. I have 38. There is no chance I'm going to come back and win this for 2 years in a row. But intern Andrew, you have had a lot of time to think this one through, to reevaluate your life decisions, and yet it seems like you're sticking with that idea.
Yeah, I said Tuesday. I was prepared to go down with the ship. I'm too committed to this now because I just know that when I pick against them, they're going to win. So I'm gonna ride this through, and then it's going to be so much sweeter when they do finally win a game.
So wait a second. Does that mean that it's his fault if they keep losing because he keeps picking them? And
it could be. Maybe it's intern Andrew's fault.
Well, when James Higgins is a Philadelphia Flyer, you'll all thank me. Just saying.
And there he goes.
Yeah, all right, see you later.
Jackie.
Yes.
I mentioned they are in the midst of what has been a very disappointing losing streak, but we do kind of get to sit here and say this is now the 6th game in a 7-game home stretch that we have almost reached the end of. And absolutely, some would call it a wonderful stretch, some would call it a brutal stretch. These guys have been staying in their homes, sleeping in their own beds. It has not paid dividends for them, however.
No.
What is the most surprising thing about this skid? Because in fairness, they had played some decent games prior to the skid, and not every game that they've lost here has been atrocious, horrific, and embarrassing, but a few of them have.
Well, I think it's fair to say, just the lack of energy in those first couple of games that started the skid was really shocking. They had that, what was it, they went from Winnipeg, where they beat the #1 team in the NHL, which is something they've done how many times now in the last year and a half. So they beat Winnipeg, and then they come back, and there was no energy against Calgary. There was no energy against Winnipeg the next game. It was it was shocking a little bit. This is not the same team all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because they played Calgary and Joel and Morgan came back, and seeing them in a different jersey maybe shook the guys a little bit. I don't know if it's because that Thursday game, everyone really knew it was going to be Scott Lawton's last game as a Flyer. They are young guys.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, at least, I've only been here since October 2023, very end of October 2023. And a lot of these guys are also kind of young and new, whatever. Yeah. And, that was, last year they didn't really make big trades. In terms of big names, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knew. Sean Walker was basically traded in December. Based on what everyone was hearing. But then, why are you guys laughing?
There was a comment. Tony Louis said, if Higgins doesn't go top 3, I'll take a video of me telling my girlfriend she's wrong about something. It's a gutsy thing to do, Tony. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I didn't get to have this conversation because I wasn't here Tuesday, but Torts.
Yes.
Torts has been doing some Torts stuff of late. I think.
Torts is tortsing.
Listen, I'm comfortable in saying that the Torts shtick is very transparent. And when I say that, I mean they're in the midst of a losing streak. Mm-hmm. And now he's trying to take some of the spotlight off the players. He's trying to take some of the blame off the players, so now he's putting himself in what is essentially like the media firing range, right?
Fair. It's a classic move.
It is.
It really is.
It is. So he, a few nights ago, has the thing where he gets asked about benching Mishkov, and then he kind of fires back and says, don't start your BS, and, I'm not going to tell you everything, and you have to accept the fact that I'm not going to tell you everything, which is ridiculous and, kind of devoid of reason.
Yeah.
Where was your head at after he said that? How did you feel coming out of it? Did you agree with the notion that the media as a whole should just be fine? You're like, don't ask the question. Do you think it was ridiculous that he was like, I'm not going to give you everything? Like, where are we at?
So, I've kind of changed my perspective a little bit on a couple of things where I'm starting to really realize for myself that, this is my first beat job kind of thing, and we really are like the voice of the fans a little bit.
Yeah.
And, I was a little surprised by some of his comments in that long-winded answer.
Yeah.
Because he's such a teacher and he wants to be a teacher. And to me, it was a perfect example to teach not just the media, but the fans about what is the proper, play, or what is the proper thing to do that caused him to sit him. And it was only 3 shifts. In reality, it wasn't that, in my opinion, it really wasn't that big of a, in the moment, you're like, is he going to sit him for the whole game?
Yeah, that was the big thing on this show that night, is we were like, all right, if he sits in the second and third, then it's a bigger deal. If not, it's a coaching point, fine. I
think it's just, I fell in love with the game as a kid by learning these kinds of things about the little intricacies and the strategies, and and I used it when I got older and I started coaching and whatever, and I think it was just a really good teaching moment for the fans to understand where he's coming from, and he kind of hides it a little bit. So, I will say though, the whole making himself more the spectacle is and I hate to bring up New York, but that is a ripped from New York kind of thing. Because Rex Ryan with the Jets, how much did he put all the, coming dressed like Rob Ryan, putting tissues out, talking about his wife, like everything he did.
What was that talking about?
Talking about his wife.
Yeah.
You don't remember that one?
He's a feet guy, Andrew.
Yeah, that was the video. That was the presser, right?
Yeah.
He's talking about his wife. He made it about him. Bobby Valentine, no offense, but Bobby Valentine, made it about him a lot, right?
Yeah.
Joe, it's just a very Pat Riley.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always about Pat Riley with those Knicks teams, right? So it's a very straightforward thing, but I thought it was like a really good teaching moment, and he kind of blew it.
He blew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I knew that on that one particular goal, he was just gliding and didn't pick up the late guy.
He was the last one back in the play.
Right.
He wasn't involved in any way.
I do understand maybe Michkov was thinking maybe because he was worried about the defenseman coming off the bench that went for the change. But when you have a guy that's standing that close to the net and is by himself, you really kind of need to pick him up. I don't know if he would have caught him but I think the fact that he was gliding didn't help. So I think
there he was. Man.
I think but it was a good teaching moment to explain a little bit more about maybe he didn't do this right on the ice. And he said it wasn't just that play, it was another play, offensive zone play, and
It's interesting. And missing Tuesday's game, I guess I've had some time to marinate on the entire thing. But when I thought about it, and the best comparison I could make is it's like a parent-teacher conference. And it's like the teacher throws out the kid's paper, says you have to redo it. And you say, all right, well, why?
Right.
And the teacher says, well, in fairness, I'm not going to give you every answer. I'm not going to tell you exactly why I'm not counting the paper. And you're like, what was it? Was it plagiarism? Is that what it was? Did you run it through one of the checkers? Was there something like a ChatGPT, or was there AI used? What was it?
Right.
Was it an old paper that another student used? What was it? And you're like, well, I have to be fair because I'm not going to tell you exactly why, but I'm just not going to count it. You're like, it's a weird thing for him to do. And then I think what compounded it was in the aftermath of it. We've now seen Chris Pronger, who is a very vocal guy, despite a very short tenure here in Philadelphia, is, I would say, probably one of the most beloved players in recent memory to play here.
He was in the 2000 team.
Yeah, he was. Well, the 2010 team that went to the Stanley Cup.
Well, no, but I was saying in the century thing that we just did, he was.
Right.
I mean, he played such a short time, but he was in that for a reason.
Yeah. He went on Twitter and got into it a little bit, and then kind of called out the Couturier thing again from last year, the benching.
Right. So I was the one who asked Couturier the question last year, and I was the one who asked York the question, and I've definitely asked Morgan Frost also when he was scratched, and some other guys, and it just never seems to be. They never seem to know. Now, someone said to me, well, maybe they're not as self-assessing well, but that's maybe today's players don't self-assess. I don't know what it is, but it seems like a lot of these guys just have big question marks about the why.
And it's funny because 7 years ago, whenever it was that Scott Gordon was the interim coach, we had him on Snow the Goalie. I mean, it was this goes back quite a bit. People can go find that episode in the archives. But Gordon gave this amazing answer. It was about a lot of the young players on the team. And about the way, now this is like 6 years ago. At that point, Scott Gordon was talking about how in the AHL level and then certainly at the NHL level, younger players, even at that time, started asking why. It wasn't a way to be disrespectful, and it certainly wasn't a way to question the validity of the coach's opinion.
Right.
But they want to understand why the decision's made, and then, in theory, try to learn from it. And so, that was 6 or 7 years ago. And so the fact that, here you are with a coach that has all this experience, a coach that won a cup 2 decades ago, that guy still doesn't seem to get that part of the modern player. That, to me, is just a concern. And I guess as you start to, you start to look ahead.
He likes guys to come to him, it seems like. He even mentioned Jacob Pelletier came to him. And we heard all last year about Morgan went to him. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of understand that a little bit when you feel like you're doing everything that you can be doing, or you're doing the things that you think maybe you're not doing right. You're trying to correct them, and then you still get scratched. I don't know about you. I played college. I mean, I played tennis, so it's very different. But college athlete. But you do self-assess. But then there's obviously things that your coach doesn't like, and everyone sees it differently. If you're the person in the moment, you're going to see it very differently than people watching from around you. I find it a little interesting that every single time they're like, I don't know.
He's super rigid, but the Flyers knew what they were getting when they hired him.
Right.
They know what they're going to have if they lame duck him again next year. They know what they'll have in him if they put him up in the front office or as an advisor or whatever. They know what he is. I mean, in fairness, John Tortorella didn't sell himself on one thing and then show up in Philadelphia and change his stripes.
He's never changed.
No.
He is who he is.
I think the bigger concern here, and I'm trying to be fair about it, right? Because I have a certain way that I feel about it, but I don't need people whining in the comments if I tell you how I really feel. You can find that on the Russ Joyce Show tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. The real issue I have is you're looking at younger players. It's not just the vets. I mean, what happened with Couturier last year I thought was a disgrace, but that doesn't really matter. It's the younger guy thing. It's the Mishkovs, it's the Yorks, it's previously the Frosts. There are going to be more young players coming into this team.
Yeah.
Whether even next year, Jet Lashenko probably will be up here.
Yes.
They're going to give a few of these other younger guys in the system a look. Maybe they don't make the team out of camp next year, but they're going to have those guys around the team. And I worry about the rigidity, I guess, of the coach and the being stuck in that idea of I need the friction. No, you might at some point have to adapt to the players. At some point, you're almost doing them a disservice to not meet them where they're at, or at least try,
Yeah, it's hard to kind of look at it and think, figure out what's right and what's not right. I mean, look, I think I saw a comment pop up that, he's built the work ethic, right? He's built the foundation with the Flyers, and I think that's a very fair thing to say, that we can say at least. It's difficult when guys don't know why, and that's I don't think they're ever not telling the truth when they say that. I think it's because they're very much I don't know what the deal is. I don't know, Sean Couturier, I don't know. I mean, Sean, in the next answer, or maybe the answer before it, like last year, Sean Couturier said, like, yeah, I'm not playing well. I know that, but I'm trying to work through it, and I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to, figure out how to be better. Well, then have they told you what you need to work on? No.
It's not great. It's not great. It's funny, too, because I saw a couple comments about, Rocky Thompson, and he was asked.
I was going to say, we've asked.
Yeah, Paul McLaughlin here, if you media folks are our voices to torts, ask why Rocky's still running the power play. He verbally stated it stinks, ask him outright. There was a quote the other night where he said, like, it's not up to them to explain. Was it like to explain to the fans or to the media or whatever?
Well, that was on the
but I thought there was something about Rocky Thompson where it was more like, we know what we need to do to fix the power play. It was more of like an internal thing. All right.
Sorry, no, I don't mean to put you.
It happened.
I don't mean to call you out, but I don't recall.
I'll find it for first intermission.
Send it to me.
But he was asked. Like the power play has come up.
Yes, multiple times.
Yes. Listen, in virtually every sport, virtually every team, you have somebody who oversees a special teams unit.
Mm-hmm.
If it is at or near the bottom multiple years in a row, you're probably having a conversation about making a change. Now, there is a certain argument to be made that there are players, the talent is deficient here. It's not a great way. Oh, you're losing the New York accent. See, they're calling you Delco now. Delco Jackie. What's a town?
Sorry, I got thrown by that.
What's a J town in Delco? Is there one?
Jenkintown.
I was gonna say Jenkintown.
Jenkintown's
I feel like
not
I've heard
Delco.
that.
I'm just trying to think of names.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is. But I don't really know much about.
Well,
I can't even pronounce half the names.
You gotta look.
Jupper Darby.
Did you say Jupper Darby?
Yeah.
Show is off. I get that the talent isn't there.
Right.
But at some point, you do kind of have to make a move. Now, I don't think he's going to. Like, I think that he will happily go down with the ship, will not turn against his assistant coaches, like all that. To me, it's just a concern.
Well, they brought in people to work on the power play, right? They brought in,
Leclerc's
John Leclerc and
Sharp
Danny Heatley and Patrick Sharp and Danny Briere, and they have these voices. My question, at least in the beginning, was always watching the power play. Was there an issue with not the talent, but were they too worried? Like, I feel like when you do a power play and you run a power play, you go, here's the structure, but be creative. Move the puck how you feel you want to move the puck. Make the plays that you feel are the best. It's all about what you see on the ice in a power play. It's not. It can't just constantly be like passes to the bumper, passes to the bumper, pass. Like, I mean, look, Alex Ovechkin has made gajillion dollars by scoring from that left circle. Right now it's Leon Draisaitl, I think it is, from like the goal line on the power play, and my question is there such rigidity in the power play, which should be really free flowing, work your way through the zone, shift personnel around? Is there such rigidity because there's nerves and there's worry, and that's why I kind of always like Morgan on the power play, because he had that creativity that he has, but I don't feel like he ever was able to show it.
Yeah, I found the quote. Came by way of Kevin Kurz. I don't know if this was at a scrum or if this was for part of a story, but Tortorella was asked about the power play. I'm not going to try to do the Torts voice. I don't think I have it in me tonight.
You need the Massachusetts accent.
But it's not for me to explain it, to try and gain faith from people. The only people we're concerned about are the people on the ice. As long as they keep listening, and I think we've got an attentive group, I think they care. If my general manager thinks that's not good enough, he will. I can't be worried about what you think or what you think or what the public thinks.
Yeah, he did that the other day.
Yeah, if we worry about that stuff, it's a tough world to live in. You have a perfect right to ask questions about the power play because it stinks. But we continue to try and work at it. To worry about people losing faith with this coaching staff, that's a question for my boss.
Yes, he pointed at a couple of different reporters.
Well, I was hoping he wasn't just pointing at the same person saying you and you, because then it's kind of concerning at that point.
No. He's not I mean, look, he knows. But John Tortorella, if you look back, I feel like I wrote a story last year. Like, if you look back at John Tortorella's history with power plays, even in Tampa, when he had Marty St. Louis and John LeClair, or in New York when he had, who was on the team? Marty St. Louis, or, I think Kreider was probably there in that one year they went to the conference final. Like,
he's had people that could excel on the power play.
He's had good players and not good power plays. So maybe it's just not his thing. I don't know.
A lineup thing that I wanted to get to.
Yes.
Rasmus Ristolainen, not in the lineup.
Correct.
Could he be traded now? He is out.
He is out with a body injury.
A body injury.
Body injury.
Is
the
it
question
upper?
was asked, upper
is it
or lower?
Is it mid?
They do love the mid.
They do.
But we were just told it's
a body injury.
He's banged up.
Banged up.
Quote unquote banged up.
Okay.
So. But
So in the lineup in his stead is Zamula.
Zamula goes back in.
Zamula's back in.
Ristolainen comes out.
There was somebody the other night who said that if Zamula gets to play every night, he's going to turn into a real NHL defenseman. No.
He does some things right.
I do some things
He's
right.
also 24?
20 irrelevant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely person. Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know.
No, he is.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a nice
Well,
guy.
that's good. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, the room itself, I could say pretty much every guy in there is respectful, nice to deal with. Obviously when things aren't going well, everyone's a little bit
cranky.
A little bit cranky.
Yeah, maybe.
But, it's always, you never know what you're going to get into when you're, like, I walked in last year in October, like, end of October, all of a sudden I was like, hi.
Yeah.
I'm now going to be around every single day.
How you doing? How you doing? I'm from Staten Island. Nice to meet you. You ever been to Staten Island?
I'm not from Staten Island. But, I think that says a lot also about the room. And as much as, they want to say, like, it's a good room for them.
Yeah.
That makes it good for us that hockey's fun.
It can be.
Hockey's fun.
One thing that isn't fun, I imagine, if you are a player, is bad goaltending. Because you do everything right, or at least in your mind, you're handling your responsibilities well, and you watch bad goals go in. I think it's one thing, like, when as a team, your structure stinks, something falls apart, or there's just a great shot that beats your netminder, and you go, all right, like, you got to give him that one.
Well, there's been a lot of goals like that lately.
But Erson and Fedotov, and even when Kolosov was playing, or whatever he was doing,
I don't remember when that was. That was so long ago.
they have given up some soft goals. They've given, it feels like almost every game. Now, we all know, big Iron Giant guy here for Fedotov.
Iron Giant?
The Iron Giant, yeah. It's shop.snowthegoalie.com. The R is backwards, like the Cyrillic letter.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the R sound, but that's not, it's about the aesthetic. It doesn't matter. So we call him the Iron Giant. I still would like to see what he has, because I think that there is a good goalie in there. And
Yes.
I think at this point I'm convinced that
He was in the top goalie in the KHL for how many years? And it's not like
It's
he's
not a
playing.
fluke.
He's not playing like VHL, which
Yeah.
is like very low in like Russia.
there's part of me here that down the stretch, like, I feel like I have a good read on what Sam Ersson is as a goalie. I do.
Okay.
I think that Sam Ersson is a really good number 2 goalie. I don't think that Sam Ersson is a Stanley Cup winning goalie. And I for a long time thought that he had the number 1 potential, but we have now seen it 2 years in a row, that when he's been called upon to be the guy, the body breaks down, or there are these like mental lapses in games where you just go, I don't know. But I guess it's one of those things. You kind of go sliding scale. The blue line in front of him isn't always the best, and that group isn't exactly
Blue line forwards.
It's not exactly a Stanley Cup winning group in front of him either. So,
people get annoyed when I put it in stories, but there's been a lot. I say like he let in a goal that not even Bernie Perron would stop, and I think that's. And then again, well, you weren't alive when Bernie Perron played. Okay, I missed him by 2 months. I was born 2 months after he retired.
wow.
That's what, now you can all look up how old I am, but yeah, like
I was not around for Bernie Perron.
Well, obviously neither was I. But there's a lot of
Wasn't around for a lot of people.
There's a lot of goals that they've allowed that I don't think anyone will stop.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair to say, well, he's a bad goalie because of that. Are there bad goals that Fedotov lets in? Yes.
Ersson's back in net tonight.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But I also think he likes playing, and I think they have to find the right balance for that.
There have been times I like playing Call of Duty, but I get my ass handed to me. Like, he can like playing all he wants, but like, when he went through a stretch where he had 3 goals allowed or more in 6 out of 7 games, like it's kind of tough to. I don't. For me, it's like hard to reconcile that he got consistent playing time and it was still going sideways the way that it was for him. You know?
Yeah, I just think it's hard to gauge. I mean, look at that Utah game where he was just phenomenal and didn't have help in front of him in overtime or any of the goals, honestly. I mean, but he was stopping breakaways like left and right in that Utah game. What was the game right after that? There was another game right after that. He played phenomenal. And I can't remember who they played.
I don't remember.
But I think I would say he's a good number 2. I would actually say he's probably even a good tandem goalie, which is kind of where the NHL is probably leaning more toward. The Connor Hellebucks of the world is very rare in today's league. But you also have to remember Logan Thompson. He didn't really develop into the goalie that he is now until he was already in his late 20s, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like who's the other goalie? Who's the goalie that took over for him in Vegas that actually won the cup? Aiden Hill.
Yeah.
Like that's another one, right? He was on San Jose, wasn't he? Wasn't he on some pretty bad?
I forget where he was before.
He was on
that.
some bad teams too. So I think to say right away to get that Sam Ersson is not a good goalie, I think is not.
I didn't say he's not a good goalie.
Sorry,
I didn't say he's not a good goalie.
He's not a. To say that he's only a number 2.
He could be a number 2 on a really good team. He could be a number 1 on a bad team. He currently is a number 1 on a bad team.
Why couldn't he be a number 1 on a good team then?
I just don't think he's a guy that like wins you games.
Interesting.
I like him.
Yeah.
For many years. I mean, listen, there was a guy that he used to kind of battle with back and forth for playing time here. Can't remember the guy. Whatever happened to him? But that guy, right? I'd go, and I liked Ersson. I actually thought that I wanted to see more of Ersson. I think ultimately, like so much of the end of the season, the last, what are we at? Tonight's game 67?
Yes.
The last 15 games or so, all I want to see, it's a fact-finding mission.
Yes.
You're not making the playoffs. These games don't matter. The effort does. The instilling of the culture, that matters.
You sound like Torts now.
Sure. The culture, great. I need to see what some of these guys look like with actual live reps and with NHL caliber players lining up across from them. I'm not expecting to. It's not like I'm going to sit here and actively campaign for like Ula Lixell to play top line minutes because we need to see what that looks like. I don't need that. I don't need to see what Rodrigo Abels is in a different situation or one that might like set him up for more goals, more points. But I do want to see what these guys look like at the end of the year, you know? So Risto being out, while it's unfortunate, like he's got a nagging injury or whatever, there's part of me that sits back and says, all right, cool, like if one of those people out there thinks that Zamula getting more reps is going to give you a better idea of what he is, and Ant reported that there were multiple teams interested in Zamula at the trade deadline, well then cool, that's good film, and that maybe helps you facilitate a deal at the draft.
Well, actually, just the other, I can't remember which day, there was no practice yesterday, so it must have been Tuesday. Tortorella said, though, that they kind of have an understanding of who Zamula is.
Yeah.
They want to see Emil Andre. That's what it was when they swapped them. And Emil came into the lineup on Tuesday, and Zamula came out, and he's like, we kind of have a general evaluation of Zamula. We want to see what Emil Andre can bring to the lineup. And I agree, now's the time to do that. The unfortunate side of things is that this isn't baseball, where you can have September call-ups and call up the entire minor league system if you really wanted to. So the Flyers have already used 3 of their 4. You're only around 4 call-ups after the trade deadline.
And they have like the emergency call-up that they could use, yeah.
So they have 3 call-ups right now in Ula Lixell, Rodrigo Abels, and Emil Andre. Yeah. So the question is, you have only one more.
And I guess there's also the thought that you might not want to have those guys up here because the Phantoms, the idea is like...
They need to make the playoffs, yeah.
Fortify the lineup down there and give them playoff reps at the AHL level, which is a very different animal. I don't know. It seems like the organization puts a lot more emphasis on that side of things.
They put a lot of emphasis on winning, or not winning, but playing games that are meaningful.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And even if it's at the AHL level, it's still meaningful games. And I guess it does, it breeds a winning mindset, and I think that's kind of what they're going for right now. Tortorella talked about that a lot last year at the end, right? About how winning is important, and it helps teaching winning is important.
Yeah.
And to get that feeling is important. So
we'll see if they do any winning here tonight. We'll see if they do any winning in the days to come. Jackie, I want to thank you for hopping on the show.
Oh, no problem.
Did you have a prediction that you wanted to throw out there to the people?
Sure. I'll say 3-2 Flyers. Why not?
Wow.
Why not?
Wow,
Why not?
ring the bell.
Why not? Why not? They beat them before.
Jackie's feeling it. She's feeling the orange and black tonight.
I mean, they look. I will say at practice today or morning skate, they look loose. They look. You didn't get the sense that like this was a team gripping sticks or stressing,
Yeah.
which is. I know some fans will say like, oh, they should be caring. They do care. Believe me, these guys care. But I think when you have that looseness, you play looser on the ice, and then hopefully you're not stressing like, oh, every time I miss the net, kind of thing. I mean, Sean Couturier was practicing that shot that he got stopped on in the third period. Granted, he didn't miss the net.
Yeah.
That guy made a ridiculous play. Matthew Highmore made a ridiculous play on that to save a sure goal from Sean Couturier.
Yeah.
But he was out practicing that exact same play today. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Interesting. Good stuff. All right, Jackie, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We're going to throw intern Andrew on here. We'll get Bundy over for his prediction as well. Intern, I'm going to, you know what? Let me really quick, I'll tap in Ant Zamboni.
Yes.
Because Anthony, as many people know, is currently down in Clearwater doing spring training coverage.
I have it already. You want me to say it?
Of the Fight and Phils. Go ahead.
He said Lightning 5-3.
Lightning 5-3 is what.
Still on?
Yeah. Bundy's here. Hello, Bundy.
Hello, Russ and Andrew.
Hi, Bundy.
He sounds like such a nice little kid when he says that. You know what? Did you hear that?
Hey, Bundy.
Hi, Bundy.
Hi, Dad.
Your illegitimate father's not here. He's down in Clearwater.
That is correct.
How's he doing?
So Ant said 5-3, 5-2.
5-3.
5-3 was Ant's prediction.
He picked it without Kucherov's out tonight, right?
Kucherov and Vasilevsky both out.
Wow. Well, this gives the Flyers the best chance to win on the homestand so far. Tampa Bay is not playing well. They've been outscored 8-1 in their last 2 games.
Yep.
Good special teams, but that takes a big point out of it. Now you just have Gensel and Braden Point.
Yeah.
Without Kucherov, that's a big loss out of the lineup tonight. So I don't know, he's sick, I guess, huh?
That's what I heard, yeah. And I think Vasilevsky is just like load management or whatever.
Yeah.
Load management.
I know that's more of a basketball term.
So where are you at?
The game tonight?
Yeah.
I'm going to go, well, I originally said 4-2 Tampa. That's what I thought, all things aside, that everybody was playing. But the Flyers have no...
Risto's out.
Risto's out of the lineup. So I'm just going to stay 4-2 Tampa.
Okay.
I have Tampa winning 3-2. Scoring for them has been difficult of late. Scoring for the Flyers has been certainly difficult of late. Yeah, I think Tampa wins. Maybe a closer game than expected. The injuries to Tampa certainly help.
I'll take the Flyers again, 4-3. We're riding this all the way to the ground.
You poor dopey boy.
Yeah, probably.
I brought this up at the beginning of pregame, Bundy. He had like a 9 or 10 point lead on over all of us.
I don't think that's true.
For a good long while.
It wasn't 9.
You have lost 5 straight games. We have all picked up. Like in my case, I've picked up 5 points on you. Right?
Yeah.
I picked up 5. The discrepancy between us is 4. 4 plus 5 is
It is 9.
So I had a 9-point lead over me.
On you. You were in last place.
Well, I'm pointing out the fact that
you said on all of you.
Worst to first, we went from 9 points down to 4.
Yes.
Bundy and Ant are nipping at the heels. Ant is actually tied with you.
Yes.
We'll get to the tiebreaker later on in the show, and maybe it'll happen. Maybe we'll talk about it. First intermission, second intermission, postgame show here on the Press Row Show. If you haven't done so already, like the video, share the video, and subscribe, and we'll talk to each and every one of you during the first intermission. Talk to you soon. Oh my gosh, intern. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show. Bundy is here. Intern Andrew on the ones and twos. Ant SanFilippo on special assignment.
He is down in Clearwater, covering the Phillies.
He's got his toes in the water.
Yes, he does. You think he's on the sand? He's got the banana hammock on?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Local reports. Yeah. A man has been spotted in a lime green Speedo.
Yep.
Matching the description of our friend Ant SanFilippo. The story reads, Florida man. So we wish Ant the best as he tries to get out of prison for indecent exposure in these unprecedented times. Yeah. Bundy, the only thing that might look worse right now than Ant in a banana hammock is what the Flyers did for much of that period. Although they did get a goal back. Little Bobby Brink. Little Bobby Brink action.
Compared to what we've seen here the first 5 games, that was a good first period by the Flyers. They did a lot of good things. They had some shots towards the net. Tampa had a couple good plays. They scored on the power play. But with Gonsalves, got the backdoor little tap in. And then right after that, there was about a few minutes later, Bobby Brink on a 3-on-2, got the puck on the far side. He went short side high. It was a good period. It was a very good period. Now, mind you, Kucherov and Vasilevsky not playing for Tampa tonight, so that helps the Flyers' causes. But Lightning definitely need this win. You can just tell the way that they've been reeling the last 2 games, and they have a little bit more of a focus on what they're doing defensively on the ice tonight, understanding that you can't take the Flyers lightly. They know they've lost 5 games in a row at home, and that something's going to give at some point. But I actually thought the Flyers had a good first period that night.
Intern Andrew said that he wasn't totally sure about his stat of the night, so we'll go over there first, and then we have to take the show slightly off the rails for a minute. Intern.
No, I was sure about it. It's just like it's not a good one.
It's not a good stat.
It's not a very pro-Flyer stat.
It's an anti-Flyer stat.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
It's just the reality of what they're going through lately.
Hey, what's that on his lip? Do you see it? A little bit of haterade?
Oh, yeah. It's got a little colored haterade on there.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm the one who keeps picking them.
It looks
so.
blue.
No one wants them to win
Is
more
it
than me.
lightning haterade?
No.
Favorite Gatorade flavor? Color? Go.
I like orange. Just plain orange. I love it.
You're a Flyer through and through.
I don't know if I've ever met a person who said orange.
Oh, orange Gatorade. Quenches my thirst. I like it.
I like yellow.
Like the lemon lime one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the slight green twinge to it.
It's always looked yellow to me, but yeah.
The answer, of course, is light blue.
That's a good one.
The light blue, like the glacier.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a strong number 2.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Back to you.
So, Bundy, I think you can attest to this, definitely. It's a lot easier to win hockey games when you're playing in front as opposed to having to come from behind all the time.
Yes.
So this is the Flyers' 7th game in the month of March. The Flyers' opponent have scored the first goal of the game 6 out of the 7 times. So that's the kind of first periods that we've been dealing with here lately. And it happened again tonight. Now, fortunately, they were able to come back and tie it in that period. But it's been a lot of 1-0 other teams here at Wells Fargo Center lately. So,
Okay.
Nice stat.
thank you.
The fact that INS is bringing up Propel is wild to me. Remember Powerade? Powerade's still around, I think.
Powerade's around still, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
They have other ones now, too, like Gator Light. Like we get like the electrolytes.
Mm-hmm.
I
Never
like
heard
that
of
one.
that.
Gator Light.
I've never heard of
Yeah.
that. Should sponsor the show. Unfortunately we have to take the show slightly off the rails now because something happened during the first period and needs to be addressed by the panel, and then we can of course get back to hockey analysis.
Okay.
So, as some people are aware, we at Snow the Goalie and the Press Row Show take things seriously when we are up here as members of the media. And there was a bit of a controversy that happened, and we need to address it. Intern Andrew saw me eat a tubular meat.
Yeah.
I believe
I
you
had a pair of them today.
Yeah, you had a pair of meats. Now, Intern Andrew looked at me after I had finished my tubular meat, my hot dog, on a lovely potato bun. The Flyers do it right, the potato buns.
Yes, they're good.
He looked at me, and I didn't explain this to you ahead of time, so I wanted your full reaction. Andrew, go ahead and ask him the question you asked me about the condiment.
When you open your bun, do you put the condiment in it first or the actual hot dog?
You know what's really weird? What an unbelievably strange night for this question. Every time I do that, I put the tubular meat in the bun first, then the stuff on the top.
Thank you.
Tonight, for whatever reason, I reversed it. I put the stuff on the bottom first, and then the tubular meat on top. So.
And how was it for you?
What are the odds? I haven't done like that in 30, 40 years, and I did it like that for
And
the
how
first
did it
time.
go?
It wasn't as good. It's better with the condiments on the top.
Why do you
on
like the
bottom.
condiments on the top?
I don't know. It
I
just
think
tastes
that's
better.
insane.
Because you're a normal person, Bundy.
I think that's nuts.
The hot dog goes first.
No, you put the condiment first on the bun.
No, you don't.
The condiment goes first, and then when you put the hot dog on, if you want to, you can even twirl it like it's corn on the cob with the butter. You can get the spread, whatever, because if you like the ketchup and the mustard, I don't know who the person is putting the mayo on the hot dogs over there. I'm deeply concerned. But if you wanted to, like you could roll. But when you put it on top, then you're just making a mess. It's gonna fall off.
Okay, then
You're gonna have globs of mustard.
It just goes. It just falls into
could
the
have
bun,
become-
which is where you had it in the first
Well,
place.
it doesn't necessarily fall into the bun. It might fall onto the
does.
plate because
Well, then that means you're putting too much.
But you could put a lot if it's on the bun.
But I don't want that much.
Yeah, I'm a condiments on top guy. Tonight I
Thank
did
you.
it that way
Thank
because it was easier the way the buns were there, and I was multitasking, so it was just easier than putting it on tonight like that.
All right.
We need to go to the comments because
But most of the time, you're dog first, then condiments.
Andrew Fawcett is said bun toasted. Makes a difference. No, the said bun is not toasted, unfortunately.
I'm just. All right, here we go. So start here. Andrew Fawcett, tubular meats. Hopefully, Ant has his hands on the table.
And it's not here, so we don't have to worry about it.
That's right. That's right. Paperface says dog first. Johnny Pelican says condiments first. Dog then condiments. Like, look at this.
You might have to do a poll on YouTube.
I think we might have to. You know
Yeah.
what? That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because people are getting into it in the comments now. This is what separates. This is what separates. What?
Condiment
comment
first
right
people
there.
are going to tear the country apart.
That's good.
There's so. I mean, I'm actually surprised by how many people said hot dog first. I really am.
I'm not.
I really am.
Well, so like if you go across the street to Citizens Bank Park and you
Yeah.
get a hot dog there, do you
That's different because
do you
I'm not
think they-
assembling it myself.
But okay, so
I have to open the bun and put it in. But usually when I do, I'll put the condiment and then I physically remove the dog for a second, plop it back in, give it a little spin.
Okay. Okay.
I can't believe that this is like a controversial opinion.
A hot dog is not a sandwich.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah. All right, I'm putting the poll up over on YouTube now. Condiment or hot dog?
I love the last line. Some guys put up. People that put condiments on the bun first are the same people that drive slow in the left lane.
Absolutely agree.
You know, I have to imagine that Ant is like me. The other night, I went back, and as I was getting in from the night's activities, I listened to Pregame. I was ironing my clothes for the conference. I listened to the first intermission show. Like, this is after the game happened, so I'm able to skip the periods, right?
Right.
I'm listening to you guys, and Ant drops the bombshell about his dad. So once again, for those who might have missed it, Ant's dad was in the hospital.
Yep.
Had some stents put in, I believe is
Yep.
what he said. Does Ant text that to us in the group chat ahead of time?
No.
He does not. Drops it there. Had I not watched the press row show, I wouldn't have even known. Papa SanFilippo, great guy.
Oh, great guy.
What salt of the earth guy. We wish him the best. We hope he might be watching. And if he is, get some sleep, fella.
Get some rest.
But,
I'm glad you're doing better.
I have to imagine that Ant is going to be paying attention, and he probably came here for hockey talk, and instead we're talking about condiments versus the hot diggity dogs. Right now, 79% of the people over on the Snow the Goalie YouTube channel have voted hot dog goes on the bun first.
Thank you. That's
Yes.
good. That faith in humanity restored.
I'm going to leave that poll up there until the end of the first intermission, which means that there is still time for people to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm deeply concerned.
This
Okay.
is turned into be quite a topic, though, because there's a lot of interaction with it.
Well, a lot of people they're getting very worried. Listen, there are a few things in this world that get people going as much as food conversation, right?
yeah.
Like Bundy. If you had one last meal, you knew it was your last meal, what is the one meal that you would want to have?
I'd go with some steak and lobster tail with garlic butter. That's it.
Any sides?
Sure, you could put a little au gratin potatoes on there for me.
Au gratin, okay.
Au gratin, and how about a little cream spinach with that too?
Cream spinach,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
All right. Intern?
Or cream corn.
Cream, okay.
Cream
okay.
corn.
You ever heard that joke before? If you're on death row, what would your last meal be?
I just told
It'd
you.
be the TGI Fridays endless apps. That way they could never kill you.
The never-ending, well, you could go the never-ending breadsticks.
Yeah.
The bottomless
that's the cheat
fries
code.
from Red Robin.
That's the cheat code.
That's good. That's a good idea.
No, I'm pretty simple. It would probably just be a cheeseburger.
That would be your last meal as a cheeseburger.
I'm a pretty picky eater.
He really is a child.
Cheeseburger.
You're still a picky eater?
Yeah.
Have you made poor Deirdre's life a living hell?
No.
Did she try to cook you all kinds of things and you just like would pick and throw
Oh,
things
no,
out?
I ate what was in front of me,
Oh,
but I'm just
okay.
saying, in terms of, like, if you're asking me what I would want, I wouldn't need this extravagant meal in front of me. I'm a pretty simple person, you know?
That's fair.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for telling me what my final meal would be is fair to you. Thank you.
It's okay. It's questionable, but it's okay.
Now,
All right.
if I'm on death row, something has gone horribly wrong in my life.
Yeah, that's usually, yes, in fact, that typically if you're on death row and you belong there and have not been, falsely charged.
Framed.
Yes, something has probably gone wrong. That is why they don't just, for funsies, like pick you up and go, all right, here you go, buddy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Now.
Tune in next week for Should Pineapple Go on a Pizza?
Pineapple go on a pizza?
Yeah.
Hawaiian pizza? I don't know. I was a Hawaiian pizza guy for a little while, but I got out of it pretty quick.
Okay.
You know what? Somebody talked over here about poutine. And I don't remember if this was pregame where poutine came up. It came up somewhere with me today.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
I remember last year you asked Danny about it.
Yeah, but there was somebody I was talking to about this earlier in the day. Poutine. Your thoughts on poutine?
Love it. Love
But
poutine.
it has to be done well. You can't just...
Yeah, I mean, you go to Canada, there's some poutine places up there that'll just knock your Aunt Connie's socks right off. They're just unbelievable.
Wow. Poor Aunt Connie.
Poor Aunt Connie.
She wears those like mid-shin...
I'll tell you what, though.
Those mid-shin high compression socks.
I've had some poutine, like you
She
get
had
short rib
varicose veins.
poutine, you get unbelievable poutine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never made it down here. It's like the Tragically Hip. It never made it. The band just couldn't make it in the U.S. for whatever reason. It's like poutine. Poutine did the same thing in Canada. It's like its own food group. For some reason down here, it's just hard to do.
You have to poutine it in your mouth. All right, let's get back to the hockey. Although people are still engaged about the food in the chat. We can keep that going during the second period. I guess I'll end the poll. It's 80-20. Man, 80% of people who voted said hot dog goes on the bun first. I'm upset. I'm going to end the poll there. It's only getting worse. It was a rigged poll. There were out-of-town voters. This is clearly Tampa Bay fans checking in.
Tampa
voting.
Bay, speaking of Tampa Bay, I just thinking of them. They're a different team without Kucherov. They really are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you think about the magic that guy puts out every single night, it's a good thing for the Flyers. He's not out in the ice tonight. Braden Point is tough enough to handle with Jake Gensel. But take Kucherov out of the lineup. This is a very winnable game for the Flyers tonight. Very winnable hockey game. Get off that schneid.
I'm thinking about Tampa Bay as they were coming into this one, and that they had been struggling of late. There were a bunch of moves that were made around the trade deadline that were very clearly moves that the top teams in the East were trying to make, because you had like Tampa makes move, Florida makes the last-minute move for Marchand, Toronto added Lawton. They were trying to kind of fortify their lineup. Is there a point in time post-deadline where, not that the locker room chemistry gets kind of jostled, but there's kind of like that relearning and reintegration or integration of a guy into the lineup? Like, do you put any of that into what some of Tampa's struggles of late have been, or do you think it's just...
I think it's
just a normal stretch?
just a hole in the schedule where they just lost 2 games in a row. They didn't look particularly great that first period. They were okay, but they didn't look particularly overwhelming at all. That's why I'm saying the Flyers can keep their wits about them. They can get a win here tonight. I know I said Tampa Bay 4-2, but even when I never felt it. Like, I just feel like they may be reeling, and it's going to take a really bad effort for the Flyers to lose this game tonight. But tied 1-1, I thought the Flyers had the better of the first period. There's no doubt about that. and they need to keep it up because it's not going to get any easier because Tampa's going to push. Tampa needs the points. Even though they have a cushion, boy, you lose like 3 games in a row, and all of a sudden you're tight again at the back of the standings.
And especially with how important every game is going to be when dictating that division.
Yeah, plus everybody, I mean, the reality is, too, anyone that plays the Flyers right now, they're chalking that up as a win to themselves.
Yeah.
So it'll be a huge disappointment if the Flyers can come out and beat them. So, no, this is an important game for Tampa, and I thought the Flyers had the better of them in the first period.
Yeah, if the season ended today, Tampa would start the playoffs on the road. So they got to get some wins.
Yeah, they need some wins, and they're, like I said, they're desperate. It's amazing. They were rolling really good, and then they lost those 2 games in a row. They got outscored 8-1 in the 2 games that they played. They got shut out by Boston at home, and then they lost at Carolina Tuesday night 4-1. So I mean, they are reeling a little bit, and I mean, there's no time to find yourself in a battle. Tampa Bay's been one of the better teams in the league over the last 2 months until the last few games.
You just put up a very pretty lady. She had a thought there.
Yeah.
Called Bobby Brink Philly's sweet baby dumpling.
He is.
You're calling him a sweet baby dumpling?
Well, I'm just agreeing with
Not
what
that there's
she said.
anything wrong with you calling him a sweet baby dumpling. I was just verifying that was... If that handshake that he gave you has like lived on in your mind.
He's a nice guy. What do you want me to say? And he scored a goal.
Who was that again, Andrew?
Bobby Brink.
Bobby Brink, right.
Nice handshake.
Yeah.
And as we know,
He's a good kid. He's a good kid.
intern Andrew is a very big believer in the handshake, the strongness, is it the locking? Is that what does it for you?
Well, yeah, sometimes you get like a fish hand and it's just not the same.
Yeah, fish hand's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what else is bad?
What's
The
that?
fact that the intermission has to end, but that's how hockey games work. Second period now, second intermission, including trivia time with intern Andrew, and then postgame. So we'll talk to each and every one of you very shortly here on the Press Row Show. Go like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Bundy is going off to find another tubular meat and put the condiment on first, the way that God intended. Talk to you soon. the Perez Restro Show. Say holy moly.
See how much happier we are with the Flyers with a lead after 2, which we haven't seen a lot of lately.
Go ahead. It's fine. I can take it.
During the period.
So everyone's familiar with Billy Idol and the infamous song Moni Moni.
Yes.
Intern Andrew thought that when he said Moni Moni, he was actually saying holy moly. He had no idea it was called Moni Moni.
And so when they played the song in the arena during a stoppage, Intern Andrew wasn't just like enjoying the song passively.
He was singing, belting
He was
it
like,
out.
and he was next to me going, holy moly, dun, dun, dun. And I looked at him, I'm like, it's not holy moly.
Look, we all make mistakes.
It's not a mistake. It'd be like me singing Crappy Birthday.
No, that's a little bit
Because I thought
more.
it sounded happy.
That's no, whatever. It's fine.
Didn't know the Flyers drafted Forsberg, drafted Bundy. Yeah.
It's not
Welcome
good.
in. The Flyers actually, in that period, Bundy, skate away with a 3-2 lead. And
Yeah.
that Ryan Poehling goal.
Beautiful.
I mean, that is a gorgeous play, and it is an example of staying cool and calm under pressure.
Yep.
You have the goalie on an island. You dangle, you deke, and you put it in the back of the net. It was beautiful.
Yeah, no,
Beautiful
it was
play.
absolutely beautifully placed puck. I mean, he was poised. He waited for the goaltender to make the first move. The goalie did. He slipped around him and then just slid it politely into the back of the net. That was a beautiful goal. Flyers were down 2-1 early. They Lightning scored to make it 2-1 15 seconds into the second period.
Brutal.
And the Flyers, again, Bobby Brink, who's having himself a night, got that like half breakaway, went up on the backhand and was able to beat the Lightning netminder. And then after that, it was Ryan Poehling making it 3-2 just inside the last minute of the second period. So Flyers with the ever-important 3-2 lead heading into the third period with the 1-goal advantage. So we'll see if they can hang on to that. Usually a team that has that lead can hang on to it. And the way Tampa's playing right now, boy, they're reeling big time.
The dichotomy of man. Give up a goal with 15 seconds expired in the period, end up flipping the script
Right.
and get that late goal. It's nice. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it was beautiful. I mean, after what we've gone through in this homestand, it's nice to see the Flyers really playing a solid, very, very good middle of the ice hockey game tonight, both in the breakouts and defending. And they're doing just a great job putting pressure on Tampa, out shooting them right now at this point of the game. Very solid effort thus far by the Flyers.
Bundy, I don't know if you ever look in the comments section as the periods are going on or not, but there's like a thing going on about taco meat now. I don't know how people got onto taco meat. We got that going. The Fandrews are standing up for intern Andrew. Fandrews,
yeah.
Fandrews, rise. Mike Butts is a Fandrew. You can tell. He's right over there. He's a big Fandrew. Fan of Andrew. All right. Well, while you're here, intern.
Yes.
I think it was Andrew Fawcett before was saying rock the cat box. Rock the cat box. I don't expect Andrew to know what the words to that actual song are.
Rock the Casbah.
That was, wow.
Rock the Casbah.
Okay. I got that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Bilabial consonant. Yeah.
Holy moly.
Every now and then.
Dun, dun, dun.
Everybody's a fan, Drew.
We are. And Nancy Joy is a saint. Thank
He
you.
is.
Thank you, Andrew Fawcett.
All right, trivia time.
All right.
Trivia time. You ready? You're gonna join in. You're gonna catch on to this because I know the other night you didn't do the instruments.
We didn't.
And I think we probably could keep that going with no ant. But I do have a song that people can catch on to. And it actually kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the first intermission.
Okay.
Get your clicks ready. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Tubular meat. Tubular meat. Tubular meat. Tubular meat. Tubular meat.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
That's good. So, 2004, the Flyers made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, where unfortunately they were beaten in Game 7 by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Game 6 of that series, maybe the Flyers' best playoff win, at least in this quarter century. Back and forth, crazy game that eventually Simone Gagne won the game for the Flyers in overtime. However, in the second period, Flyers have the lead 3-2. and a Lightning player scores to tie it at 3, and then that same Lightning player scored again 2 minutes and 18 seconds later to give the Lightning a 4-3 lead going into the third. Who was that player?
Brad Richards.
No.
Just trying to think. Vinny Lecavalier, Marty St. Louis. Wow. The Flyers won that game, though, but they were down 4-3 at some point in the game.
Going into the third, yeah.
I have intentionally done everything I can to black that series out of my memory.
It's a good series. Just objectively, if you're a hockey fan, but like obviously for us, it's sour point. But
yeah, I don't know. You want to give us a hint?
I have a good hint for you, actually. He was your teammate here for 2 years.
My teammate here for 2 years.
You have to give him a date and a time that this player scored a goal, an obscure goal. On a rainy Thursday night.
How about this? Game 1 against the Senators in 2002.
Oh, you know what, dude? I do know who it is. He went and won a Stanley Cup. Rusty Fedotenko.
That is correct.
That guy scored more big playoff goals than you could shake a stick at.
He had 12 goals that year for the Lightning in that postseason.
Yeah, he scored some big goals. Ruslan Fedotenko.
Ruslan.
Mm-hmm.
Duh.
Played in the Olympics too, actually, for Ukraine.
Yep.
Are you upset at all that like his trivia earlier was anti-Flyers? Now the trivia.
Yeah, but he tied it to the Flyers. It was a good trivia.
Yeah, but that was like a PTSD series.
No, I know, but I knew it would be a good question. Look, the world's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Ruslan.
Ruslan Fedotenko.
I have a stat for you.
Sure.
You want a stat?
Yeah.
You want a stat, tough guy?
Oh.
All right. So Bobby Brink has 2 goals on the night.
He does.
It is his second 2-goal game in his career.
Oh, good for him.
Wow.
Do you know who he scored 2 goals against the first time?
Tampa Bay.
Nope.
The Wild.
You just saw it.
Was it actually that?
It was the Wild, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. I just guessed that because he's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, okay. No, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know that.
Look at that.
Holy moly.
Good guess.
Holy moly. What are some other songs that intern Andrew probably sings wrong?
All of them.
Especially 80s songs. You can really mess a few 80s songs up pretty good.
What's this song? We don't want it to come all the way through here.
It's
go ahead.
the Jackson 5.
Uh-huh. What does it say? Won't you please?
I don't know. No, I know the song. I know the song.
Won't you please?
Take Me Home. Country Roads.
Take me home.
I don't know. What is it?
Country road to a place that I belong. West Virginia.
Holy moly.
Mountain Mama.
Mama, holy moly.
We've really gone off the rails here in the second intermission.
Hey, what else do you want to say?
The show has gone sideways. Okay.
Good period for
Let's bring it back.
Ryan Bailey, though.
So, one of the things that we have seen here, Bundy, in the last month or so, is it's not your usual suspects or the guys that you would expect to be the ones that are performing at the highest level.
Yeah.
For a long time, we had the Cates line was just unbelievable. Once again, tonight we have Bobby Brink doing Bobby Brink things. Halen gets you a goal. We've talked a bit kind of on and off for about a week and a half or so that Konechny's just not scoring.
He's buzzing tonight, though.
He's buzzing.
Yeah. He's buzzing tonight, so that's a good sign. He was a little better. He's been better each of the last 2 games prior to tonight, and I think tonight's been his most energized game that we've seen him back. So that's a good sign. But, you know, again, sometimes goal scoring comes and goes, and when you're cold, then it's tough to get it back again. Big time.
Yeah. Well, here, Timeout asks, is TK seriously disgruntled with his entire core leaving or injured? I'm suspicious why he was sitting at Nations Face-Off or whatever that corny tournament was called, regardless. So Timeout believes that Konechny's upset that the guys that he kind of came up with or that he spent a lot of time with are gone. I can't imagine it's that. Does it feel to you like he might be hurt?
I don't know if he's hurt.
He's trying to play through something.
He just looks like a tired hockey player at times. That's why tonight he's got to manufacture his energy. I mean, there's games you're going back in the early part of the homestand. He was not even a noticeable player, but he came back from the Four Nations. I know. I mean, you're still there playing hockey, even though he didn't play in 2 of those games. You're still there competing and playing hockey, and practicing, and you're not getting a mental break. So I think that absolutely played into it for him for sure. I think that's a major part of TK's slump that he's in right now is I think just a lot of fatigue.
Hey, intern.
Yes.
Question for you.
Yes.
How much of a direct correlation do you think Bobby Brink's handshake has had into his success in this game?
Not a lot. I mean, some, but not a lot. I mean, that was like the 3rd home game of last year, so that was forever ago. I don't know. Maybe I don't actually think it's me. I think it's all him. If I had to guess, I'd say it's all him. Why do you say that?
I have a song that we're gonna do, and I want to see if you know the words to it. Somebody just turfed it over there by the organ.
Turfed what?
Oh, I thought somebody just fell and knocked over a thing by the organ, like the banner. I think we're okay.
Oh, somebody did fall.
She did. She did fall. I was right.
Oh, you know what? Now that that was the handshake night. Now that I think about it.
What?
When he scored 2 goals.
Really?
Yes, because that was when we did the interview with him post game.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember. Those were his first 2 career goals.
Yeah.
Well, she's a little overserved, or did she just fall?
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Ooh, you know what? Hold on. We're gonna actually
we
gonna pause the show.
We
We
got
gotta
a real
figure out what's
situation in
going-
front of us here.
Yes, we do. Rose show.
That's a real shame, man.
Boy, just when you think you've seen everything.
That's a real shame. We saw a lady, literally right next to us is our very good friend Mike, who does the organ. He's the organ player. And there was a lady that right behind us as we looked back.
He has a banner. He has a banner behind him.
He's a banner, and she tripped over him and fell into the organ.
Yeah,
and then I thought
the banner kind of go.
I thought she was, maybe around 50, but she fell and she looked hurt and she got up. I thought she just tripped, and then she fell down again right away.
Yeah.
So she's had a couple.
But she fell the second time.
Yeah, do
you remember the video Scarlett Takes a Tumble?
No.
The lady who stands on the coffee table.
Oh, you showed it to me. Yes, yeah.
Maybe we can't be together.
Yes.
Never. Boom, boom.
Yes.
It was like that.
Yeah.
She had a few. She'd had a happy hour in her and a full night.
I don't think she knew where she was.
She had no idea. I talked to her. I said, "Are you okay, ma'am?" She just looked at me like I was a pear.
She looked at you and she said, "Are you Chris Pronger?"
I mean, I whatever. She's okay, but anyway.
We'll hope that she'll get some help. And
I guess she needs some help.
Because after she fell the first time, there were the lights. You know the light poles?
Yes.
And one of them almost kind of went up and over.
Yeah,
which also would have been bad.
That was a scene.
This ain't a scene.
It's a GD arms race.
All right, there we go.
Well, that's a first for Snow the goalie. We had to stop the show.
That was wild.
Mid-intermission.
Hey, you know what? Jeff is right here, by the way. The gang was on it. Impressive. Leapt into action. All right? We could have kept going live here. We could have. but we had to make sure that she was safe. Security came over. We had to make sure Mike, the organist, was safe.
Mike-
I mean, really,
Mike is okay.
Mike was
Mike-
our number one concern.
See Mike? All I did was look at Mike when it happened. He's looking at it like, what the hell is
That's
going
Mike
on
there
here?
in the ponytail.
Yep.
That's Mike. That's our organ
Mike
player
is
with
fantastic.
the orange jacket on. He's one of the best.
I said salt to the earth earlier about somebody else, but
It's all you, Mike. It's all you, buddy.
Mike saved the day.
Mike.
Great job.
You saved the day. You helped that lady.
Raise the roof.
This is why we love the security team up
That's
here.
Mother Teresa.
She's a nice lady.
Beautiful lady. Love her.
Wonderful, wonderful lady.
Yeah.
The security people up here, they're great. So let the record show. Could have been a very... Now,
There's no
imagine
damage
if
to the
imagine
organ.
if the organ had been on.
And she like fell into it. All you heard was. Mike's like doing this.
Mike is such a professional, he would have powered through it anyway.
Mike Puts over here, by the way, didn't move. He did not move at all. He stood there with the leg crossed. That's like he like posts up over there. He just kind of looked like, yep.
I asked him, I go, Mike, is she a little overserved? He goes, oh, absolutely.
I think this might be the first show we've ever done where there was more not hockey talk than hockey talk. We're over the 50% threshold of not hockey talk.
Are people complaining, though, out in
No,
the...
quite the opposite.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
I mean, listen, this is part of the fun of doing the Press Row Show. And we'll have some actual thoughts on the post game.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Bundy, the Flyers have the opportunity here to win their first game, snap a 5-game skid,
Yep.
probably prevent there being the annual 10-game losing streak. But Tampa Bay, you have to imagine, because of how important the points are, and given, like, you go into this game expecting a win if you're Tampa, you got to think they're going to come out here with their hair on fire.
100%. They're going to have their hair. That's a great set of words for it, Russ. Hair on fire. Tampa Bay's got to come out. They desperately need the points. I know they've got a cushion, but that cushion is only good for so long. So they don't want to lose 3 in a row, and they don't want to lose a game to the Philadelphia Flyers. So we'll see what kind of push Tampa has. Look for them to be the team to really have a good start, especially the first 5 minutes.
All right, we will be back post-game here on the Press Row Show. That lady won't, but the rest of us will be here on the post-game show. So like the video, share the video, and subscribe. We'll talk to all of you very, very soon. Committed to the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show. And believe it or not, your team, your town, your Philadelphia Flyers, they beat a Kucherov-less team.
They did.
A
No
Vasilevsky-less team. But you know what? They got the job done. They did it in a shootout. This is bad for Team Tank, but it is good for people who wanted to see them break the 5-game skid.
It was a good win by the Flyers. They played a good hockey game today. They outshot Tampa 29-20 through the 4-on-3. The 3-on-3 at the end was the worst 3-on-3 I've seen. That was awful. I mean,
Tampa didn't look like they wanted to play for the win.
They didn't look like they cared to score that much. That's for sure.
Do you did it look to you like they were just trying to play for the shootout?
It did. It did feel
like that.
Do you
think that they just thought that they had the...
No, I mean, they can't think that with the goalie they had in. I mean, there's no way at this point. I mean, I even looked at you before. I said the Flyers are going to win the shootout.
It got worse, though. So it gets worse, though, because, listen, again, however you feel about the win, it's bad for us, though, because intern Andrew has been insufferable because in the predictions, he was the only one to take the Flyers. And to compound the problem, he once again is getting the extra bonus point. So now he gets the 4-3. Now, I don't know if the 4-3 should count. It was in a shootout. The Flyers didn't score a fourth goal.
Well, they scored in the shootout. This has never been a rule that you have to call it, that it was in overtime. No, I get you. Yes. I got 2 points.
You've always had to do that.
Thank you for Andrew.
You always had to call the overtime.
I think this is a sham. And I think we're going to have to put it in front of the official review board.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he's making his own rules up as he goes because he finally got a win.
That's ridiculous.
And it's a shame, because we've been doing this on the up and up the entire season.
Yeah,
and now
somebody wants to cheat.
Well, now because he was riding the same 5-game skid that the Flyers were.
You got to call Flyers 4-3 in overtime.
And now he's out here making up his own rules, and you hate to see it. We thought that intern Andrew was a good, young, upstanding member of society. And what we've learned is that he's
pond scum.
It's just ridiculous.
He is an absolute scallywag, a rascallion, and a guy that you just can't trust.
See, even Aunt Maureen said it. Yay, Andrew gets the point. You got the point.
No,
No, she gets it.
No.
Is that your Aunt Maureen?
It is, yeah.
She friended me on Facebook. Now, Aunt Maureen.
Did she?
You might be a really nice lady. I'm not going to be Facebook. I don't accept Facebook friend requests from people I don't know.
What?
But I do appreciate the offer.
Bundy's Facebook friends with my mom.
I will accept your real life friendship, but not the Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about Facebook friend requests?
I don't know. I don't really like them.
Yeah. Aunt, I think
I get them. If Aunt Maureen friended me, I would accept it if I saw it.
Would you?
Yeah.
Aunt Maureen, screw dealing with Russ. Friend request Bundy.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a more interesting guy.
Can't say no to Aunt Maureen.
That's yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Your mom's sister?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Aunt Maureen. See, now I feel bad. She said, damn.
That's all right. I think she'll get over it.
It'll be okay, Aunt Maureen.
The chat is overwhelmingly in favor of me getting 2 points. I got the score right, objectively.
They like you. You're like the kid with the mustache during the game.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that kid.
He was the real star, wasn't he?
He was. You know what turned the game around tonight? It was the lady who fell over the organ. It was the drunk lady who almost cracked her head open.
That was unbelievable.
For the people who listen after the fact in the podcast feed or weren't with us, well, God, if she
no
drove,
way.
she
can't be driving.
She's physically incapable of
She
driving.
can't drive a car. She can't stand up.
She's incapable of operating a motor vehicle.
She's incapable of operating her own vehicle, meaning her own legs. Yeah. I mean, Mike, do you want to come on here for a second? Do you want, look, he's staggering on.
How are you guys?
Here, wait. Come over here. Come here. Wait. Yeah, come over. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, buddy. Good, Mike.
All right.
So Mike, we have to. We're going to give the blow-by-blow here for a second. I'm going to remove intern Andrew for a second, but it was the second period.
Second period, yeah.
Second period. I don't think this has ever happened before, and all the time that you've been up here.
It's been exciting.
A lady.
I was a little scared.
A lady came up behind you. Usually the people, they stand at the stanchion and they yell at you like, play happy birthday, right?
Correct.
But this lady ended up behind you, and we were doing the show, and I saw the banner kind of flap, and this lady's just like kind of there, and then you're trying to help, and there's another guy, and somebody else is trying to help, and she gets up, and then let the people know, like, what happened after that?
I think she fell again. I think she
She
fell.
fell
and
into the
almost-
turnstiles.
Almost knocked you off the air, I believe.
It was something.
That's,
Yeah, it
that's
was-
quite a.
This lady almost took out the organ,
Yes, that's true.
the best organist in the biz,
Oh, jeez, thank you.
and the #1 rated pregame intermission postgame show.
I
Like,
just
she almost took out the entirety of the entertainment in this part outside of the
if
Snow
she's
Goalie
watching tonight on Snow the Goalie YouTube channel,
Right.
give me a call. I can help.
So we have to get to this. Andrew Fawcett left us his super chat
Oh, thank you,
for our
Andrew.
hero Mike the organist. Buy him a beer.
Oh, I would love a beer.
So there we go. All right. The next time
We owe Mike a beer.
we owe Mike a beer
All right.
on Andrew Fawcett.
Mike, great job tonight
Well,
saving
thank
a
you.
life, man.
Thank you. Well, it is.
You know what?
We needed some excitement to this.
There
topic
are
did.
people.
lately,
There
so
are
this was
people that
good.
when there's chaos and where's the sound of chaos, they run from it. You ran to it.
Wow.
You went to help that lady. And if this were LinkedIn, I'd endorse you as a first responder.
Oh my
tonight,
goodness!
right now.
I wish I needed better first responders than me. I just happen to be there.
Good job, Mike. Thanks, buddy.
You did a great
Thank
job.
you, guys.
You're the man, Mike.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me
We
on.
love Mike.
Thanks for having
Mike's
coming
great.
There's one
thanks,
other
Mike.
one other comment that I have starred here. Our
Go ahead.
friend
Yeah,
checked in.
Don't fall. Oh, Anthony's here.
Went to a sports bar in Tampa to watch the game. Didn't have it on in the team's hometown. Then after they put it on at my request, no one else was watching it or even reacted to it. Pathetic.
Wow. Here's a real question. Why is Ant at a sports bar right now? He should be taking his wife out to a nice dinner. They're down there. He's probably hijacking the whole trip. You know, oh, spring training.
I can't miss it.
I can't.
I gotta be there. I gotta go down and interview Pasty and all those guys.
Gotta
been waiting
have
for
the guys see me in the locker room. Yeah,
Harp's been waiting for me.
Sorry, the clubhouse. Poor Maria. She's just like, Anthony, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time together. Go on the beach.
at the ballpark.
Go on the beach. Maybe like grab a nice dinner. And answers, oh, I got to write a story. You know, and then he writes, 4,500 words on launch angle or something. And,
Exit velocity.
there's a different kind of launch angle and exit velocity that, he should be doing right now.
at the end of the
we're
day-
talking about those slingshot rides.
At the end of the
at
day, guys
carnivals.
throw pitches and they get hit or they don't.
Yeah.
And that's it. Sometimes they leave the park, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
So Anthony, he requested the hockey game, and nobody reacted. In fairness, Bundy, earlier in the game, you and I looked at each other, and it was like, I think it was the first period. The crowd was very quiet early in the game. Later on, it kind of caught on. But early in this game, it felt like we looked at each other, and it felt like in the first period that it was like a 4-1 Tampa lead with 2 minutes left. It was a very strange atmosphere
because
tonight.
the Flyers had lost 5 in a row. They were coming out. The fans didn't have a lot of expectation, and then when the Flyers got themselves going, you could tell the building got right into it. It totally got into it. That's a sign of what's to come. The Flyers really turned the corner. They're going to have a packed building every night, and this place is going to be electric. And that's what we're looking forward to.
Now, if you're looking at the rest of the league tonight, because we have to do this as we get ready to roll tonight.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, right? Yeah, Pittsburgh won 5-3 at home against the Blues. So if you're one of the Team Tank people, the good news is Pittsburgh has now won 3 straight. Nashville has won 4 straight.
Wow.
So some of those teams, and even Seattle won a game. So the Flyers winning tonight, on aggregate, it does matter. But relative to everyone else and how everybody else is doing behind you, not a bad thing. Now, we are going to really quickly bring up Tankathon because the people care out there. And so we're gonna let me find it. There it is, Tankathon. And right now the Flyers would be 7th. I know Ant gets upset about the point percentage, but he's not here, so we're not going to worry about it. The bad man can't hurt our feelings. All right, here we go. We're going to sim the lottery.
Do it.
Andrew, you ready?
Let's do it. Yeah.
We'll end up in 8th all the time.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Finally, we got the number 1 pick.
We'll go out on that.
We're done. We're done.
Thank you, Greg, for the super chat, by the way.
Greg Mack helping. Yeah, so now we have $15 for the Mike Beer Fund.
Yes.
So basically, that just takes 16 teams and just throws them in a hat and shuffles them up.
It does, yeah.
That's all it does.
But the Flyers get the number 1 pick. Maybe we keep this tab the entire rest of the year. Do we screenshot it?
I think we should, yeah. Just for
Do you
the,
notice
just
that
for the
we
vibes.
didn't even like react? Like in theory, like we should be yelling, right? Like, yeah!
Well, it's not real.
No, I know, but but all of the sadness that I felt every time I watched them fall, that is real.
Okay.
I think I've been so beaten down by them moving down that I didn't expect them to jump up 6 spots. That's a thing of beauty. All right, anyway.
All right.
Guys, we are back at it.
Saturday night for the last game of the homestand. The 7th and final game of the homestand. This has been a grind.
Yeah.
It has been.
It's been a
But
lot
you know
of
what?
work.
We've done it together, guys.
You took that night off the other night. It didn't count. Guys that were still here are
That is
feeling
true.
it.
That is true.
Yeah. Bundy and I have the
Although-
Iron Man streak.
You know.
Yeah. It's been a lot of talking for the last 6 nights. Good show tonight, guys.
I second that. Yeah, tonight was one of the wildest shows we've ever done.
That was crazy.
Tubular meets. We had drunk ladies. We had me not knowing music, and the Flyers got the dub.
They did.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, my friends. But wait a second. Did Aunt Maureen give a super chat? Aunt Maureen gave a super chat.
Oh,
earlier.
yeah. I
Almost
missed that.
forgot, but I'm here now for my Snow the Goalie fix. Aunt Maureen, I'll accept that friend request.
Thank you, Aunt Maureen.
All it took was $1.99. Aunt Maureen, you know me too well.
You can buy Russ's friendship.
That's exactly right. Everything has a price. We will be back on Saturday.
Saturday night. We'll see you then.
It's been fun. Some would say that tonight it's been a great time. It's been a pleasure. It's been a joy.
We got a little Villanova Yukon basketball game to watch when we get home tonight. Something on TV.
Nova's playing tonight?
Yeah, they play tonight.
I watched. Yeah,
they play Yukon.
I saw them in person yesterday, and it was a nice showing. I almost forgot that Kyle Neptune was the coach.
It's been tubular. It has been tubular.
It's been tubular. All right, we will talk to all of you Saturday here on the Press Row Show. Do us a favor: like the video, share the video, and subscribe. For Ant, who's in Florida, for Bundy, for intern Andrew, I'm Russ. We'll talk to all of you here on the Press Row Show.